Today I did sort of a natural-ish glam everyday sort of makeup look, using a selection of colors that's very complementary to a lot of skin tones in my opinion. I think that you could wear this out and you could just put on a little liner or lashes and it's a whole other look. But I did something a little bit more simple. Unfortunately, I want to apologize, I forgot to film my brows and my mascara and my lipstick. My camera died, so I couldn't film anymore. And I didn't realize that it had died. So don't worry though, I'll share my secrets for my eyebrows in another tutorial. And I'm sure that you'll see me do mascara a million times. But anyway, I hope you enjoy the tutorial, and I'm sure I'll see you soon. Bye! So we're going to start off by moisturizing our lips. Any lip balm will do. And then I'm going to spray my face with my MAC Fix Plus. I use this at the end. I don't have a video of that, of my makeup tutorial, just to set everything. But starting off, we're going to go in with our MAC Concealer. It's the Pro Longwear Concealer in the shade NW20. I'm using the F70 Concealer Brush by Sigma to just paint that on my eyelid. I squirt that into one of the little sample pots that MAC gives you. And then I use the Sigma F86 Tapered Kabuki Brush to blend it all out. This concealer is really great for being an eyeshadow primer. It has technology in it not to crease as much as other concealers would. It does sometimes crease a little bit, but definitely not for eyeshadow. I hardly ever have an issue with my eyeshadow creasing because I use this instead of anything general. So when that's blended out, go on to your eyeshadow. I'm using Makeup Geek Beaches and Cream and the Sigma E40 brush. And I'm just blending that into my crease as high up as you want it to go. This is no rhyme or reason, as sloppy as you want it to be. The only thing you want to do is put the same amount in the inner part of your crease as the outer part. It will give your eyes a more rounded shape. And you can do this also as pigmented or as not pigmented, unpigmented, I don't know, as you want it to be. I like it pretty pigmented. I love this color. It's not a skin tone color for me, obviously it's darker, but it is a really great crease shade if you're looking for just something to just throw on your crease and go. So just keep blending it out. And next I'm using MAC Saddle. It's broke it the first day I got it. And I'm using the same brush. It's an E40. It's the same kind of brush, it's not the exact same brush. This one that I'm using right now came with my Mr. Bunny collection that I didn't realize was synthetic when I got it. Actually, I'm not sure if the first one I used, the black-haired one, is synthetic or not, but it's different, and I like that. So next, I'm using MAC Swiss Chocolate on the MAC 217 brush. This is a natural goat-haired brush. So it applies the color kind of faintly into your crease, but I want to deepen up my crease more with a darker color, and I really love this color. I'm putting some into the inner part of my eye, but I'm not putting as much as I am on the outer part. I don't want it to be that dark on the inner part of my eye. Next I'm using MAC Naked Lunch. I don't want it that dark because I'm using this light color and I don't want them to combat each other. And when I have a lighter color in my eye, I don't like to darken it up too much because I feel like it looks more open. So I'm focusing this color mostly on the inner 2/3 of my lid, sweeping it across, and just kind of blending it out into the other third. Poked myself in the eye, and it was not a very pleasant feeling. So we're just going to make some faces and continue. If you spray this color with MAC Fix Plus, it'll be more metallic. I didn't want it metallic, I just wanted it to be pigmented. So next we're going in with MAC Woodwinked and MAC Twinks. Twinks is the more purple shade, and we're using that same E55 shader brush. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. And we're patting this onto the outer third of our lid and blending it into the middle third. I'm mixing these two colors together because purple looks really great with people with green eyes. That's one of the best colors to bring the color of your eyes forward. I do go over it with just some Woodwinked because I didn't want a lot of purple in this look. I just wanted a little bit to kind of, make my eyes stand out. And So I'm just patting it, and then I'm bringing some of the woodwinked up into my crease, but not a lot. I don't like a lot of shimmer in my crease. Just wanted a little touch of it up there. And then you'll see me go back over it with some more Naked Lunch. I felt like the color on the inner part of my eye was just not as, you know, pigmented as I wanted it to be anymore after I had done the 2 other shades. Just briefly, I don't think I recorded this, but I use the Woodwinked and Swiss Chocolate, and I rub that under my lower lash line. But when I did this voiceover and screwed it up before, I didn't see that. Anyway, we're going to go in with Benefit POREfessional. This, hello sirens, this primer fills your pores pretty well if you pat it in. If you rub it in like a lotion, it's not going to do what you want it to do, and I think that that's a lot of why some people don't like it. So if you just pat it in and then rub it in just to like make sure that all of the product is on your face, that's like the best way to do it. I use a little bit of this under my eyes too to kind of just prevent creasing. The lady at MAC told me that if I put eye cream underneath my eye, it'll stop the Pro Longwear Concealer from creasing, but I just don't think that it does it as well as putting a little bit of this underneath. Next, I'm using my Makeup Forever HD foundation in the shade 117, and I'm using the Sigma F80 flat top kabuki brush to kind of pat and buff at the same time this foundation into my skin. It's really important that you do have like a moisturized face before you go in with like this kind of stuff, because sometimes I'll find that if I don't if I forget to moisturize or something, it'll look like I have really dry skin, and I have like oily combination kind of skin. Like I have some dry patches, but that's only once in a while, and my skin is generally oily, and it'll look really dry in some places on my face if I don't moisturize. So make sure you moisturize. And it'll create a barrier between your face and your product, so you won't clog as many pores. It'll just be like a little layer of something. So this takes a little while. That's why I'm babbling. But just keep going. Keep blending, blending, blending. Or buffing, buffing, buffing. Where am I? Hello. The foundation, the more that you buff, the better it'll look. These brushes, since the fibers are, or the bristles, whatever you want to call them, are synthetic, make for really good brushes to keep from, like, you know, getting caked up. It just works really well for me. As you can see here, I just kind of went over my eyebrows. Sometimes I'll notice that above my eyebrows is like just like a white line where there's no like product. So also make sure that you blend down your neck and blend into the corner of your nose. It's really important that you do that, just so you look normal, like you're not wearing a mask. Here you can see I'm patting just a little bit of extra foundation onto some blemishes that I have, and then you'll see in a second that I go over these spots and just kind of buff them out a little bit more with my F80. This will help get a little coverage, like a little extra coverage in the areas that you need it without caking up your face. That's like the worst thing in my opinion. I hate when that happens. So then I just keep buffing. Next we're going to go in and draw a line from the top of our nose to the bottom of our nose and then out towards the outer part of our eye with concealer. It's the same NW20 and the same brushes that I used to do my eyeshadow base. Don't put a lot of product under your eye. Like, don't cake it up by, you know, putting like a whole squirt underneath your eyes. I use 2 squirts to highlight my whole face, and I have extra. That's why I use the little pots, because I'll use that little bit that was extra, that was left over from the day before, as my eyeshadow primer the next day I do my makeup. But I'd put, hello, I get tongue-tied. So I'm going to put a little bit on the bridge of my nose, in between my eyebrows, the outer parts of my lips, my cupid's bow, and a little bit on my chin, and it looks crazy. So then I am going to take the F86 again, just blend these areas out. I find that if I push against the inside of my cheek, like where the outer parts of my concealer are, with my tongue, it'll help to blend those areas in better. And just putting concealer in these spots, I'm not trying to conceal anything. I mean, under my eyes is different, but like around my face, I just do it so that way I have some, you know, it's not just flat foundation. It's not a good look for me. So just keep going, rub this in, or pat it, don't rub it, don't rub. And just blend it in really well. You could use a beauty blender for this part if you want to. You don't have to use this brush. I mean, you could use your fingers if you wanted to. But I got this brush at IMATS because I've seen it in a whole bunch of like Jaclyn Hill videos. And I was like, oh, I have to get that and try it. And I think maybe since I bought this brush in April, I've used it, I've not used my beauty blender very much. I will sometimes go over my beauty blender underneath my eyes with a dry one just to kind of absorb any excess concealer that the brush may have not picked up. The last motion that you do using this brush is going inwards, it won't crease as much. And I really apologize that this footage is so choppy. It was not choppy when I did it. To set our concealer in all the spots we put it on our face, I'm going to use the Makeup Forever setting powder. This I'm setting with a Sigma F35 brush. I have two of these brushes. I use one for this step and one for highlighting. This powder comes loose and pressed. I prefer not to buy loose products because I end up just getting them all over myself. So I got the pressed one. It comes in a little compact. Works for me. It doesn't come with like a little like powder puff kind of thing that a lot of compacts come with, but that's really not a big deal. So just pat this. Don't rub. If you rub, you can get some brush strokes on your face, and I just don't like that. Don't put a lot under your eyes because it can make your eyes look crepey, but just make sure that you get it on all the spots you put concealer. Next, I'm going to use my Benefit Hoola bronzer with the Sigma. All my brushes are Sigma, clearly. Large Angled Contour. It is the F40 brush. This brush works really well for blush also, but I'm using this for contouring. I make a fish face, but I also smile at the same time, so that way you can really see where the hollows of my cheeks are. And I blend this back into the hairline, and I also blend it up a little bit into my temple area, just to kind of create some shape on my face. And just blend it out and kind of go lighter and build it up. Don't put a lot on, and remember that wherever you put the brush first is going to be the most product on that spot. I'm also putting some in the outer parts of my face, or on my forehead, just the top corners, I guess you could say. I leave the middle open because I highlighted there earlier, so I don't want to put a contour color there. And I blend a little bit down, creating a shadow on my jawline just to give myself a little bit more definition. I do a little bit on the bottom of my chin as well. And I'll blend it down my neck a little bit too. And just go over a little bit more if you think you need more. Sometimes I feel like my contour is not as strong as I want it to be, so it takes me a little while. I also use a small brush from EcoTools, which is the same looking brush, it's just tiny. I put a little bit of bronzer underneath my lips to make my bottom lip look fuller. I put a little bit under my nose and on the sides of my nose to contour my nose. If you do this, make sure that you blend those spots really well. If you don't blend them, sometimes it can look like you have chocolate or something underneath your lip, and then your nose will just look dirty. So just blend. Sorry, I yawned. So just blend, blend, blend. Go light with this. Make sure that you connect a little, create a little shadow from the bridge of your nose to your eyebrows. So that way it works together. Next, I'm using MAC Warm Soul. This is a Mineralize blush. And I'm using an Essence of Beauty like powder brush. I've had this, I don't even know how long, and I'm in the market for a new brush. I have to get another large angled one. I think that's what I want for my blush. Anyway, sometimes I use a NYX one, but it's not fluffy. So just put that over your bronzer, and then since I'm behind now, I'm using the same style, the tapered highlighter brush, with NYX Illuminator Narcissist, is what I believe it's called. And I'm putting that on the tops of my cheeks, the bridge of my nose, and above my cupid's bow, and a tiny little bit on my chin. Not too much, though. And next I'm taking MAC Brule, which is just that's exactly my skin tone eyeshadow. And I'm using the same E40 that we used earlier, and I'm just blending out that eyeshadow a little bit more. And I'm going to go in with a 217 with a little bit more Swiss chocolate. I said it earlier, I don't have footage of it, sorry. I don't have footage of my eyebrows either. But just blend some of the Swiss chocolate and wood winged underneath your eye with a pencil brush, and then you'll see me put some Naked Lunch on the inner part of my eye with some rice paper as my underbrow highlight. See, my brows are done here. And then a little bit of that rice paper on the inner corner of my eye. Once I'm done, I used MAC Naked Bud, which is a limited edition. Sorry, I don't want to name drop it, but it's one of my favorites. They don't have it anymore. I use that as my lipstick, and I spray my face with MAC Fix Plus. And that's the finished look. Okay, so sorry about the cutout footage, but there you go. That's the finished look. Oh, and the lighting is different because all of a sudden there was a thunderstorm. Well, I hope you like this look, and I'll see you soon.